Good afternoon. Today is March 28th and I am interviewing Mr. Dowling for my research career project. I am researching the career of being an art teacher. Mr. Dowling, do I have your permission to record this interview?
Yes, you do.
The first question is, how is your subject matter related to my career interest of being an art teacher?
Well, being an art teacher means you need to know about color. And color spectrums are all about physics. There's actually a whole physical center called optics, which deals with light. And the three primary colors of light that mix together in order to make all the colors in the rainbow are not actually the same three colors as pigments. So you would need to know what the difference between a pigment is and a wavelength of light is in order to make sure that when they paint, they mix the right colors, and when they deal with light, they mix the right colors.
The second question is, how will your class prepare me for my career interests?
Okay, well, first of all, being in class at all, if you're going to be any kind of teacher, sticking time in different types of classrooms helps you understand how different teachers teach different things. Now, mine's very science-heavy. Yours is a much more creative, open thing. But that doesn't mean that my stuff doesn't get creative, too. Not as much as you would in art, and I'm nowhere near going to be as close. But you will see how different people think in different classrooms. You can follow several of your fellow students around and watch how they'll act in one class and act in another class. That can help you in your future as an art teacher. And just let alone in art, we go into waves and how light splits and how light can back together and what a pigment is and what wavelength is and how colors react and how your eye works in order to perceive all these colors and even spatial recognition. In fact, there's a mathematical calculation to beauty. It's a ratio, so when you make a painting, in order to make the person look beautiful, you have to have certain aspects of certain ratios. So all that you can learn in my kind of class.
The third question is, what makes your class unique in comparison to other classes in Los Angeles?
Okay. One of the unique things about me that I generally talk about is the fact that I'm getting a master's in technological integration in the classroom, which means I'll be able to bring in my own personal websites, my own personal developed structures, my own information that I'm not going to be relying on some third-party group to build for me. I tailor it for the classroom. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be able to bring that other teachers can't.
The fourth question is, how do you implement character education into your class?
Okay. Biggest one I always do is respect. It's the first rule up on the board over there, and it's the first rule of my classroom. The reason I say respect is because if you don't show respect, you don't get respect. I'm very much for the golden rule. Treat others as you wish to be treated. If you come into my classroom and disrespect me from the beginning, you lose respect from me, which means you get less freedom. I'm willing to give you more labs, more events, more videos, more fun stuff if you are a respectful, well-working class than if you are not. If you disrespect me, don't do the work, fight me in class, yell at me, call me names, I don't get hurt. I don't take it personally. It's just your attitude is showing me that you don't deserve the better stuff. And that's what I try and teach my kids. It's the biggest thing I try to teach in character development. I do all the other ones, but this is the biggest one for me. Because if you get in the real world and you disrespect people, you'll never get anywhere in life. Who's going to want to hire you if you call them an idiot when you first walk in the door?
My fifth question is, what interests you the most about physics?
Well, I love that it's a puzzle. You can take anything in the entire universe, look at it, break it down to its smallest part, work all the math and physics dealing with that small part, and then expand it back out to apply to anything else. And that's one of the things I love, is that it's very much a problem-solving situation. It tells me how everything works, so I can look at it and go, hey, this is what's going to happen in this situation, but it'll be completely different over here. And it gives me this really rich sense of how the world works.
My sixth question is, how does physics relate to art?
Well, one person once said that the middle, if you overlap science and art, you get wonder. And the thing is, back a long time ago, art and sciences weren't separated. They were actually, in many ways, considered kind of one discipline. Because in order to paint, you had to have a very creative, very open mind. You had to be able to analyze things and break it down. You had to look at the shadows versus the light. You had to be able to take the angles into account. And then when they did that, they actually took the math behind those angles. And that's when they started to separate more as two different things. But for a long time, if you ever remember any Renaissance people, they were always famous painters, poets, writers, architects, and mathematicians. The reason why they did it all is because even though they're two separate sides of the brain, many times you associate your math skill with your left side of your brain, and the other time you associate artistic sides with your right. It doesn't mean that they are completely alienated from each other. And in fact, there's several things in science, in physics, if you look at certain graphical randomizations of particles, it's some of the best art I've ever seen. It was an amazing display of light, color, and depth into it, and I have yet to see anything hand painted that looked like that. And it was just a random data structure. So honestly, the entire world it can be explained by physics, but it shows its beauty in art.
My last question is, would you go back to college to earn a higher degree in teaching?
Actually, I'm doing that right now. So I'm in my second year of my master's course. I'll be hopefully graduating within a year and a half, so that I can make sure I can build those websites properly for every kid that needs it.
That is all the questions I have for you, Mr. Dowling. Thank you for your time.